James Webb Telescope in 2023 has begun to reveal more about the history of our galaxies, revealing two images where one is going to be focusing on something related to the early universe, studying a specific galaxy that we're going to address, and the other one is with regards to a grand scale of things where we're going to see how these introduces some interesting features that are not usually seen from other images from different telescopes. And so, focusing on the first image, which is known as the NGC 346, this is known to be a star forming region that is in the cluster of the dust ribbon. And so, according to this article from NASA, it's truly fascinating to see how this will help us to understand star formation, but how it reflects the early universe. According to studies, this region here that this cluster is formed shows that it has some parallels between it and not only the early universe, but multiple parallels between it and our neighboring galaxies. So this is really a rich region for us to understand the history of our own galaxy, how it's formed, and also the early universe in terms of the formation of stars. So this here, according to this article, says that this region is showing promising formation of stars, also known as protostars. What are the ingredients that are responsible for this particular rich formation region to foster planets and planetary bodies indeed, but also star formations? Furthermore, this image shows how powerful the James Webb Telescope is capable of, most especially how it is using its near infrared region cameras, but most importantly how this image shows baby stars, which are protostars. This that cannot be seen using other telescopes that we are currently using, like Splantius or that of the Hubble's telescope. And this is going to be essential for we to study fully how baby stars are developed into much more older stars. And so, fascinatingly, this is going to help us to also see how astronomers can dive really deep into how this will impact possibly other regions that are dusty like clouds, and how those regions can also trigger formation of protostars in those spaces. This also shows promising results concerning how you can see dusty disk-like particles that are surrounding protostars in addition to that, and how this reveals the potential for the formation of planetary bodies like rocky planets due to the content of those dusts that are present in there, alongside that of energies that are present there, which regions have higher energies for these fostering of products to be formed. So it's really fascinating to see what the future holds for this region in space, which is the NGC 346, and how this will enable scientists to dive really deeper into early universes formation based on this one sample that is relatively close to our own galaxy. Now, reading the description of the image from NASA, it says that a star cluster within a nebula. The center of the image contains arcs of orange and pink gas that form a boat-like shape. One end of these arcs points to the top right of the image, while the other end points towards the bottom left. Another plume of orange and pink gas expands from the center of the top left of the image. To the right of this plume is a large cluster of white stars. There are more of these white stars and galaxies of different sizes spread throughout the image. The second image focuses on a familiar image from 2022, and this image is known as the Tarantula Nebula, and now this brings in a different take on it from James Webb Telescope in combination with another observatory that introduces a new view of this nebula. And so this, according to 2022, describes it as a view of a tarantula focusing on a prey, according to the imagery. And this shows some nice introduction to gases and how these shows promising view about formation of stars in this region, how stars are formed. Now introducing this new imagery, which has now not only the infrared region from James Webb Telescope, but also the observatory, which is known as the Chandra X-ray Observatory. Indeed, introducing X-ray view to this particular image, we see some stunning color contrast and how those colors reveals understanding about what gas contents are there, how high in energy they are, and most importantly, visualizing things that weren't actually captured using the infrared region of the James Webb Telescope. And so, diving into the analysis of the image description, it says here that composite image of the Tarantula Nebula, royal blue and purple gas clouds interact with the red and orange gas clouds as sparks of light and large gleaming stars peek through. The blue and the purple patches represents X-ray data from the Chandra. The much spiky blue clouds is shaped like an upward pointing triangle at the center. Rips white clouds outline this blue triangle, and inside this flame is a gleaming star with 6 long, thin spikes. Behind it is a cluster of smaller bright blues showing young stars in the nebula. Darker X-rays clouds can be found near the right and left edges of the image, and the red and orange gas clouds, which looks like rolling fire, represents infrared data from the James Webb Telescope. So this is a wonderful description image of what we have here, and this is really fascinating to see that like other nebulas in our Milky Way, the Tarantula Nebula has a chemical composition that is quite similar to that of conditions of our own galaxies, like several billion years ago, while star formation was at its peak. For astronomers, this nebula is the perfect window into how stars formed in our galaxy in the distant past. So this is another target region for we to be able to understand the history of our own galaxy in terms of how it was like in the past, and how we can indeed figure out how this galaxy will shape our own future about how our galaxy is going to look like in that particular state. So it's really fascinating to see how this image is that really is from James Webb Telescope really reveals some parallels not only between our universe, our galaxy, but this galaxy, but most importantly the past of our own galaxy, and how this might change our understanding of the future of our galaxy. So I hope you found this video informative. Please hit a comment down below. Let me hear your thoughts about these two galaxies and their imagery and reimagining of those images. So see you all on the next one. Stay smart as always and believe in yourselves.